Pause bench press and using a belt. Why should you use a belt when benching? Honestly, I don't think you really should if you're not going to compete. I'm exclusively using a belt for the next 30 days, pretty much every single chance I get, because this thing is so damn uncomfortable to wear. If you're not used to wearing a belt, it's especially a leather 10 millimeter powerlifting belt, it's pretty annoying. So here are some warm-up sets, kind of getting my shoulder ready for the day. I've exchanged Spoto presses for pause bench for the Candito training program control day, and I'm kind of gradually starting to kind of move away from the Candito training program and go to a more powerlifting specific plan. And the reason for this is really just trying to nail down my technique and form. I mean, there's one thing to build strength, which is simpler. You just freaking lift heavy weights and you mess around with different programming and you try different things. But when you're actually going to try to express your strength, you really got to nail down technique. And that means the setup, the positioning of the bar, and just getting yourself in the right spot. Like one thing I was doing here today in this session was that I remembered that one of the things I'm not doing that I forgot to do was position myself so that I'm more underneath the bar. Jason Blaha mentioned this on Juggernaut Fitness TV, and this is something that's, interestingly enough, coincidentally, I had the conversation with a client about this. I think one of the reasons why I can bench better at home is because the rack is lower. I unrack the bar from a lower position, and I unrack it from a higher position. Now, because I'm sort of limited where I'm at right now with the bench, because it's fixed, and I'm also kind of worried about hitting those J-hooks. Here's some shoulder mobility. This is kind of my go-to. I made a video about this. It just helps me improve my shoulder extension. What I'm finding is that with the pause bench is you are going to get really good at the pause bench as soon as you can start to feel your lats. Or at least in my particular case, I feel my lats a shitload once I start using a lot more power in the pause bench. And in this session, I really didn't feel it a whole lot, not as much as I wanted to, which means I still am not fully engaging my entire body into the bench press. That's kind of what the belt does for me. It actually helps me push my arch a little harder and helps me create pressure so that when I'm tightening my abs, I can really squeeze my lats harder and dig my shoulder blades into the bench as hard as I possibly can. Here's a kind of interesting way of doing it. I do a singles pause benching with 245. Just trying to figure it out. You know, I do one, then I do another one, and you can see how I hit a sticking point there, kind of a little bit of a grinder, and what the problem is, I'm just not fast enough. I could be feeling a little bit beat up from my deadlift session on Sunday. I was super sore in the back. Not too bad as I got into the workout, but it's always a bit rough when you're just not feeling like fully recovered in the entire body. So this is kind of why I see why people will only do one lift a week. Like you'll bench once a week or squat bench a week or deadlift once a week. The only problem with that is that I feel like you just lose practice and you don't learn fast enough. All right, here's some bent over rows, and I'm supposed to do pause rows, but I decided to do pendulé rows instead. Kind of I just work on my explosiveness off the ground, core tightening, and then of course I'm wearing a belt. And again, I mean, the thing I don't like about the belt is that if you're not used to it, it does cause a little bit of bruising, especially on the squat, and it also kind of depends on how tight it is. And I guess it depends on how easily you bruise, because it's not that bad. It's just that the sooner you get used to it, the better. Because I'm just so used to it. I'm not used to pressing my abdomen into it quite yet. And I think a part of it could be just a little bit of the weight loss. I'm used to having a little bit of a bigger stomach. Or last time I trained with the belt, I had a little bit of a bigger stomach. And then I did one set of overhead press at 135 pounds, and I was gonna do more than one set, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna fucking grind out 10 reps. And I hadn't done this in a while, and I was actually pretty proud of myself here, 135 for 10 reps overhead press. Really working on that sticking point, really working through that shoulder and tricep strength, just trying to build as much strength as I possibly can, and just get better with all my pressing movements so I can carry it over to the bench. And then the belt also helps. And then to finish off the workouts with some chin-ups. And I have to say that these were not as hard as I thought they would as well. So I'm definitely getting stronger. Just the thing is now trying to translate this strength into powerlifting specific lifting. That means dialing my technique, working on my tight shoulders, working on making sure my back stays super tight. And that's kind of what it's about. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.